It is our second day here in Riga, the capital of Latvia. And although late November may not be the best time to be here weather-wise, we haven't been able to get out on the water or anything like that, the one thing that is year-round here in Riga is the market hall. I assume you can probably tell just by looking at it, but this wasn't always a market hall. These structures were originally zeppelin hangars. If you don't know what a zeppelin is, just picture the Goodyear blimp. No, just kidding. But picture the Hindenburg. The Hindenburg was a zeppelin. The Germans used zeppelins during the First World War, and Latvia was actually under German occupation during that war. And I really can't think of a better way to celebrate Latvian independence than to use these former zeppelin hangars as one of the largest market halls, actually the largest market hall in all of Europe. We've been exploring Riga the last day and a half. We've had some really good food in the city, but we really haven't had much traditional Latvian food, and there is no better place in the world to do a Latvian food tour. Let's check it out. So before we dive into the food portion of the tour, we should mention that the Riga Market Hall has a lot more to it than just food stalls. All of these different hangars are connected to each other, and they all have something different to offer. So right now, these are like the clothes, accessories, purses, bags, shoes, stuff like that. The scale of this place is pretty unbelievable, and we've just entered our first hangar.
First hangar down, we're heading to the second. This first one would be the perfect place to pick up a souvenir or a jacket if you're in need of one. Definitely a cool place to walk around.
Okay, this feels like a gourmet grocery store. We've got the cheeses, we've got deli meats, we've got really good looking cakes and bread, and a few food vendors on the other side as well. So far, everything's looking very good, but we want to see everything before we make a decision. I think the next hangar is the fish, because I can smell it from here. It's not my favorite smell, like fish in a market, I gotta be honest. Yeah, there's some fish in here. With that said about the smells, I'm sure the fish in this hall is very high quality. It probably comes straight from the Gulf of Riga, or maybe a little bit further from the Baltic Sea. This is a very good region in the world for fish. You can absolutely tell that a lot of this is completely fresh. I wouldn't be surprised if most of this was caught either this morning or yesterday. I don't think we're gonna be purchasing any fish and cooking it at home. Our Airbnb isn't exactly equipped for that. However, the sauerkraut looks really good. And sauerkraut is a staple in the Latvian cuisine. We've done something that we haven't had to do in Latvia quite yet. We've got some cash out. Most of the places in central Riga are gonna take cards. This is a very card-friendly country. However, a lot of the vendors here in the market are cash only. They do use the euro here in Latvia, so let's go see what we can get. Okay, so our purchases so far are a little bit eclectic, but here's what we went with so far. We got a little bag of sauerkraut. These are some spicy chili pickles. Now I'm not entirely sure how we're gonna eat this because it's literally just in a bag. We're gonna have to find a fork somewhere in this hall. And then we got this interesting little orange fruit. I think it was called the kuamba? Kuala? No, I don't know. You're gonna have to look that one up after.
This is a kumquat.
Maybe it's a kumquat.
A huge one though.
Yeah, I think kumquats are smaller, so I'm not entirely sure on that one. But the vendor did say these are very sweet, and it was literally 70 cents. All of this combined was about 2 euros and 10 cents. And then we also got ourselves a little beer. This one was 4 euros, twice as much as the rest of our little snacks here. Most of the vendors, at least in the fish portion of the hall, were very affordable. Let's try this Uzavas Lager. It's a Latvian beer. Ooh, very full flavor. That is awesome. Okay, you know what? I was eyeing something as we came into the hall that I just need to try. I'll be right back. Okay, I saw a few people with these and I just couldn't pass it up. Look at that. This is called a jeburik, jebushki, I don't know. It's basically, they had a cottage cheese, a jam, and a meat filled. So I went with the meat. It's a deep fried dough with meat in it. Wow, that is rich. It reminds me a lot of langos, which we had in Hungary, at least the dough. It's basically like a deep fried pizza dough. I think that's the best way to describe it. It's just so gloriously greasy and pillowy. And looks like I just got to the meat filling. I think it's some sort of like beef roast with onion. If someone asked me to describe this, just off the top of my head, I would say pot roast with a donut around it. Or at least like a deep fried dough.
And as I was here waiting for Max to get his little goodie, I found one of my own. So in our attempt to get utensils so we can try our sauerkraut, I went to a soup place just here, and this is actually a zero waste concept. So the soup is served in this bread bowl, and you're just supposed to drink it. So I don't know when we're ever gonna try the sauerkraut now. The soup does look good, and it's such a cool concept. I got the cheesy chowder, and it's served with spring onion on top. And this place is called Zupa Good. Oh my god. That is so nice. It is the perfect balance of cheesy, creamy, and then with the spring onion on top, you get a little bit of some savory spice. That's really awesome. And how cool! It's like a cup of soup and you get to eat the cup along with it.
After 2 swings and 2 misses at trying to get a utensil, I went over to Papa Potato to get some French fries. Now I know these don't belong in a Latvian food tour, but the point is, now we have this. I still don't know how practical this is gonna be, but we're gonna give it a shot. We're no strangers to sauerkraut, but I have to say, I have never seen it served like this. They had so many different kinds. They asked if we wanted sour, sweet and sour, just sweet, salty specifically. It's like they picked out every single individual flavor of sauerkraut and separated it into those very specific things. So we went with sweet and sour, because when you're having sauerkraut, you want it sour. This adventure has been all about firsts for us. The first time we try certain foods, certain experiences. Well, I can say for sure, I have never eaten sauerkraut out of the bag with a fry fork.
Now a little easier with this one. No utensil needed to try these chili marinated pickles. They're huge into their fermented foods here in Latvia. And so when we saw a big jar of pickles, we knew we had to try them. That was very salty, but not too spicy. There's a little bit on the tongue. I was expecting like a good crunch on the outside, but you really just sunk your teeth in, almost like a piece of taffy. Pretty good.
It's a solid pickle, but I'm with Sid. I'm more of a crunchy pickle guy. It's just a little too soft for me, but I do like the chili flavor. They do their fermented foods very well here.
It's time to try our mystery fruit. It doesn't feel very ripe. It feels very hard still. And if it's anything like a tomato, you know, you want the skin to give a little when you squish into it, and it's pretty stiff. So I hope when I bite into this that it doesn't ruin the experience. Oh my god, that's like candy. Think about the juiciest cantaloupe you've ever had, and then it's wrapped in this skin. It's almost like a nectarine or a peach. Even though it does feel very stiff, it's very, very ripe in the middle. There's no effort at all you need to bite into this. This is amazing.
A little bit, oh.
Right? It's like candy.
Whoa, it is amazing. It's so funny when we asked the vendor, is this sweet? Because we just weren't sure. It looks kind of like a tomato almost. We weren't sure if it was like a sweet or savory. She was like, oh, very sweet. And she was right about that. This market hall is absolutely a choose your own adventure. You could come in here, just kind of skim around for like half an hour, check everything out, or you could literally spend your entire day here. It's totally up to you, but there's a lot to see, and we still haven't seen the last hangars. Okay, lots of meat. I think this is the deli portion. Bacon.
Bacon. Oh, there's a pig's head.
Oh.
While Max has a smell aversion to seafood, I don't fancy myself in a butcher all that well.
Yeah, this definitely smells like a straight up butcher in here.
We've seen pig heads, pig feet,
intestines,
hearts, deer meat.
Liver.
Just not my kind of place, really.
But I bet you can make a pretty good stew after shopping in here. I think we got a really good feel of the Central Market Hall experience today. Unfortunately, in this last hall, it seems like they're basically closing down, so there's not a lot going on. We didn't get to really try anything super traditional, like the beetroot soup or the black pudding sausage, but we got some good food.